Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the Microsoft Teams Breakout Rooms. This is the Houston Office 365 Community monthly meeting. We normally meet on the third Wednesday of each month in the evening. We were trying to change things up a little bit to meet during the day to see if more folks had time to join. This session will be recorded and posted on our website at hou365.org. So if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself, and please feel free to ask questions at any time. Okay, so my name is Johnny Lopez. I am a recently awarded Microsoft MVP. I work for a company called Catapult Systems. You can follow me on Twitter at rocket2ts_15. I do have a YouTube channel that's called the Rocket Channel. I'm currently the president, and I've been for about probably 4 years now for the Houston Office 365 community and also the HOU 365 Saturday. Also co-lead for the Houston Power Platform user group. Very passionate about Microsoft 365, sharing information, being able to test the new technology and the new features, and sharing with the community. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about what is a breakout room. We're going to look into creating a breakout room, managing the rooms, managing participants for the rooms. I'm going to show you how to send an announcement as an organizer. We're going to chat with participants, look at working files and how they work within the Microsoft breakout rooms, and then also have time for some question and answers. We are going to actively participate. Everyone's going to participate today that's in the meeting in the breakout room so you can see the experience as a user. And I'm going to show you the experience as an organizer. So everyone's going to have a role today. And we're going to break out in different rooms and kind of do a couple different things and be able to ask questions. And then at the end of the session, we'll join back into the main room and share experiences. Any questions so far? No questions. Awesome. Okay. So to get started, what is a breakout room? Breakout rooms allow organizers to divide the meeting into subgroups to facilitate discussions and brainstorming sessions. Only the meeting organizer can start breakout rooms in the meeting itself. So when you create a breakout room, you can either automatically assign the attendees to a room or manually assign them to a room. One of the restrictions is, again, only meeting organizers can start the breakout room. That could change. When you create a breakout room, you really what you're doing is you're joining the meeting at a scheduled time and wait for participants to join. Your meeting will then open its own window. When you select the breakout room, you'll see, I'll show you an example of what that icon looks like. When your participants have joined, you're ready to select the breakout rooms for your meeting controls. So again, you get to choose whether you want to automatically assign people into breakout rooms, and also how many breakout rooms you need, and then also you can manually select to add participants to the breakout rooms. So it's really simple. How many rooms you need? How do you want to assign the participants? Once you create the breakout rooms, one of the best practice is to rename the room. So you do that by clicking on the right ellipsis to the right of the breakout room and click rename room. So it creates the rooms however many you want it to create, and it gives it a room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whichever number, and then it just leaves the room empty if you manually wanted to add participants, or it will automatically assign participants to a room. And we'll walk through these steps too as well in the demo. So when you start a breakout room, once you rename it, you want to open the breakout room. So when you open the breakout room, individually, so you can select the more option ellipsis to the right and click open. You can start all rooms at once if you like. So you can select open rooms, and that will start all the rooms at one time. You can also close rooms and delete rooms if you need to. You cannot join a room that's closed. If my my memory is right, you cannot reopen the room once it is closed, and you have to delete it and recreate a room. You'll know when the rooms have successfully opened when their status changes to open. And we'll look into that too as well. As a participant, if you manually select it to assign rooms, once you assign a participant to a room and you open the room, that participant will get a notification that asks them to join the room. They'll have to go in and actually join the room itself. So I'll show you what that looks like. So if you have, let's just say you have 12 participants or 16, you can select a participant and assign them to a room specifically, and which is a nice feature. So you can do a select or select all and assign them to rooms as needed. So you would repeat this process until all participants have been assigned to rooms. You can leave people in the main room if you want, or you can bring people in and out of the room as desired within the room settings. So to view participants assigned to a breakout room, expand the arrow next to the room's name, and you can see the participants assigned to that breakout room. If you reassign a participant to a different room, they do lose access to a previous room that they have. So just keep in mind, if you want people to move around, you have to move them in their different rooms. If you wanted to join a breakout room as a presenter, you click next to the more options ellipsis, and you join that specific room. And what it does, it pulls you into that room as you were in a meeting. So that's what the user experience looks like. So it pulls you into the room like you're in the meeting, and it allows you to participate with the participants. You can chat with them in the chat. You can also share files, create a whiteboard, those different types of things. So you have full interaction with the users or participants in that room. And whenever you want to join the main meeting again, you can just click on the ellipsis again and exit the room, and it'll take you to the main meeting. As an organizer, you can send an announcement to breakout rooms. So if you're in the main room and you want to send an announcement, it is a plain text announcement. This is not something that's going to throw up fireworks or show show some type of important message. What the reason for breakout rooms is to give instructions to the breakout rooms for the announcement. So when you create an announcement, it sends an announcement to everyone in that breakout room specifically, or breakout rooms. So it's kind of like an all breakout room announcement. Hey, please everyone come back and join the main meeting, or hey, please follow these instructions in each breakout room, and you can post those. Right now, it's not rich text. Right now, it's just plain text that you can type in and provide an announcement to breakout rooms. Someone have a question? Does someone have a question? Nope. Okay. If you guys join the meeting and you're on, please mute yourself if you have any background noise. That way we can continue on with the presentation. Thank you. When you want to reassign participants, you can move participants to different breakout rooms. Again, currently you can only move participants when breakout rooms are closed. So if it's closed, then you can start moving them to the other rooms. If you want to move them individually, you can expand the list of participants under the breakout room, hover over a participant's name, and then select the checkbox that appears, and then you can move them to a room. And also there's a chat. You can chat with participants in a breakout room. As an organizer, what happens in Teams, in the chat window in Teams, it will create history of each room that way you can go through each chat. You don't have to go in the room to chat. You can actually do that from Teams, the Teams chat window outside of the meeting. So you have to go to the Teams client and go to the chat room, the chat section, and you can actually enter and chat with those rooms. This is a good way for you to be able to chat with multiple rooms at the same time without having to enter the room specifically to chat with the users. And also participants can still see the chat history and any files shared after the breakout room is closed, So once a breakout room is closed, everyone that was part of that room will still see the history of that room in their Teams chat. So you can, like I was talking about before, you can add or delete a breakout room. So if you need to add more rooms, so for example, if you already have your 5 breakout rooms created, you need to add one or delete a room, you can do that through the main room itself. So keep that in mind. If you delete a breakout room, it will, what it does, if there's anyone assigned to it, it will actually put everybody back into the main room. So just be careful when you're managing the rooms. If you delete a breakout room, it does reassign everyone back to the main room. So if you're having a conversation in the main room that you don't want other people to hear, or whatever the case is, I would highly suggest you not delete any breakout rooms until you're done with the specific meeting that you're having. When you edit breakout rooms, again, there's an ellipsis off to the right of the room name. By default, rooms will be set to automatically move participants in open rooms. If you'd like to change that, as I stated before, you have to toggle, you have to switch the toggle for automatic move people into rooms off. When automatic settings is turned off, participants will receive a message asking them to join a breakout room, and we'll show you that here shortly. So as you're editing the rooms, just be cautious that when there are people in the rooms, you are changing settings within that room. So just keep in mind. There's some, and I'll provide these slides too as well. I'm not going to go through every bullet. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of things that we can go through. And again, when you close the breakout room, you select the more options next to the room and then close the room. You can close all rooms at once, select close rooms. You'll know when the room successfully closed when their status changes to closed. Select resume when everyone is back from their breakout rooms, and you'll be ready to meet with a larger group again. So when you close the rooms, you have to resume everyone to the main breakout room so they can go back to the breakout room, or the main room itself. And then save files, recordings, and notes from breakout rooms. Files, recordings, and notes can be accessed in this chat. You and your participants will be able to access these materials after the room is closed, but participants will not be able to chat or add additional material after the room is closed. So one of the things I wanted to bring up about the recordings, so if you can record in the main meeting, but once you jump into breakout rooms, you have to start the recording in that breakout room, and it will store that recording for that specific breakout room in your OneDrive of the organizer that started the recording. So each room has its own space for files, for recordings, for notes, and for chat. So keep that in mind. So if you want to, you're not going to be able to record the entire session in one swoop, because of the fact that if you have breakout rooms and you want to record conversations in those specific breakout rooms, those breakout rooms will have their own individual recording that's not tied to the main room. So that's a really big piece of information to keep in mind when using breakout rooms. And then you can also, in the meeting itself, you can recreate breakout rooms from scratch. So you want to return to the beginning of the breakout rooms process to start over or reconfigure your rooms or assignments. You can actually go through and recreate them and all over again. So it will delete and then recreate the rooms as you see fit. And then also each breakout room does have a whiteboard capability. Again, there's licensing requirements around whiteboard using in Teams. But each of these breakout rooms does have a whiteboard capability that you could utilize to provide that meeting experience for Whiteboard. So some of the FAQs we can talk about, and then we'll open it up for questions, and then we'll jump into the demo. Is who can start a breakout room? Right now, only meeting organizers can start breakout rooms. How can I use breakout rooms? The meeting organizer can start the breakout room from the desktop client only. Participants can join breakout rooms from desktop, web, or mobile. Breakout rooms Teams rooms do not have breakout room capability yet. So if you have in your office, if you have Microsoft Teams rooms, they do not have the capability to utilize the breakout rooms. And participants logged in from multiple devices will have all endpoints join the same breakout room. So if someone puts you in breakout room 2 and you're logged in on your mobile device and you go to your client on your machine, doesn't matter where you log in from, you're still going to go into the same breakout room that you're assigned as a participant. So just keep that in mind. So if one person accesses multiple times, they'll still get put in the same breakout room based on their identity. And then how do I make sure I can start using breakout rooms? Make sure the new meeting experience is enabled in Teams. So you can go into Teams and setting in general, and then check the turn on new meeting experience. Most of you should have that enabled already. If you don't, please do so. You'll get a lot of great features with that. And then also check to make sure that you have the latest updates in Teams. And then also IT admins can check how often tenants get updates. Make sure that you're in a standard release or a early release. I think right now breakout rooms are standard release for all tenants now. So you don't have to be in a targeted or specific early release for this. Okay. Any questions?
Johnny, you have some questions in the chat.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes. So, John, that's a great question. And the question is, can a room participant ask for help from the organizer or facilitator? Absolutely. So when you chat, and excuse me, my nose is running today. When in the chat, you can mention the organizer or just type in the chat, and the organizer will see that message in their Teams chat, and they can go check specifically without entering that room, or they can pop into the room itself. So you can use the chat to communicate with the organizer. And the other question is, does each room have its own whiteboard? That is correct. Each room should have their own whiteboard. Nicole asked, is there a limit to how many breakout rooms you can have? I would say the limit, I'm trying to think of the hard limit, but I would say, keep it around 10 to 20. I think the hard limit might be 20, if I'm not mistaken. And the drop down says 50. You'd be treading waters, Sherry, if you put 50, as you know, from a performance perspective. But yeah, so I would say stay around, the 10 to 20, just so you can, that way performance won't suffer. I think if you have a need for 50 breakout rooms, you might want to think about reorganizing your actual meeting itself and have breakout meetings. That way you can minimize your breakout rooms. And Sherry's right. Be careful what you wish for, especially when you come down to utilizing these limitations and hitting capacity on some of these features. Again, Microsoft Teams runs on, it runs on that desktop from the organizer perspective. If you have team meeting rooms and you see your computer utilization go up really high, you might pretty much bring down the use of your machine. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this is going to be the fun part. So I'm going to walk you through creating rooms and showing you how to organize rooms. You as attendees will be put in breakout rooms yourself. And when you get in those breakout rooms, just post in the chat where you're from, who you are, where you're from. If you want to put your organization, that'd be great. Start some dialogue. Feel free to journey around the room itself. And I just want to give you guys a disclaimer. Forgive my typing if I take a long time to create these rooms. I'm going to change the room name so you can see the change. That way you don't have generic rooms. I'm not going to automatically add you to a room. I'm going to show you the experience as far as the manual assignment. That way you can see how you can select multiple people and drop them into a room. So if you're a meeting organizer, you'll see this nice little icon that has a square within a square. And that's the breakout rooms icon. If you click on that, it will bring up and says, hey, well, how many do you want to create? I'm just going to create 5. And then as you see here, as I change the number of rooms, I want you to notice how it automatically is going to assign 25 people into 10 rooms. So that's going to put 2 to 3 people in rooms. If I select manual, it's just going to manually allow me to manually add the participants to those rooms. So it already does the math for you, which is really nice. So once I create the rooms, notice here the rooms are being created. I'm going to see the rooms as the organizer. I'm going to see the rooms off to the right. Here's the list of my participants. And then here are my rooms. If I wanted to add more rooms, I can. Notice that these rooms are closed until you open them. So I want to go in and rename a room. And again, forget my typing. I never took typing in high school. That's how I'm dating myself, sorry. I'm going to rename the room. And notice here it's renamed. And then I can rename this one. And just go down the list and rename them. Okay, so I just renamed these rooms. Now there's 5 rooms. Now notice how I can start selecting folks. Oh, let me take a step back. Now I want to open the rooms. I can do that by several ways, but notice here I cannot do that here on these rooms. I can only delete and rename. So let me do this. This happened to me last time, so 1 second. All right, so once I assign to rooms, once I have participants in the rooms itself, then I can open them. So I'm just gonna add some participants. It looks like Chris, I know that guy. I'm gonna go ahead and assign some folks to the rooms. All right, so once I assign folks to the rooms, now I can go in and open the room. And when I open this room, it's gonna ask you to join the room. Go ahead and join the room. Again, add your name and where you're from and maybe the company you work for and just start some dialogue. Feel free to, if you wanted to upload some dummy files, some test files, you can as well. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop in each room and I'll start the recording. So I'm gonna open this room. I'm opening the room cool. Come on. Okay. You should be start to be pulled into these rooms. Yep. You have to click join room. Here you go, everyone's going. Did anyone not get assigned or not click on and not see the open room? So since I'm recording, I'm going to show everyone how I can join the room. So I can go in each one of these rooms and join. So I'm going to go in this first room, and I'm going to leave this meeting and go into that room. Okay, everyone, as you notice, as I'm returning back to the room, back here, I had to share my screen again. So I went in this room and I started the recording. So there's a recording going on in this room, and I'm just going to pop in each room and start the recording. It looks like you guys didn't go into a room. You were assigned a room. Did you guys not want to go into the breakout room to see the experience? So Sherman and Blanca, John, anyone? Okay. Okay, everyone. If you notice here, I'm gonna mute someone who's really loud. All right. So notice here, I want to send an announcement. I can make an announcement to all the breakout rooms. Let me share my screen and show you guys how to do that. And I'm going to show everyone else when they jump back into this meeting. So I'm going to share my screen. And in order for you to create an announcement, again, this is a plain text announcement. You go to the breakout room menu, and then you click make an announcement. And as you can see here, so what this is going to do, this is going to post an announcement to everyone in the actual breakout room and let them know to hit the return button to come back into the main meeting. So this announcement will be broadcast in all of the rooms. Once we start seeing everyone come back in, I'm going to show you as an organizer how to, I'm going to show you how to participate in the chat without even going to the breakout room. So once I see everyone come back, everyone's making their way back. Okay, so in Teams itself, so if you go to Teams and you open the chat in Teams, notice here each of the rooms that were created has its own chat. So as an organizer, you can go into the chat and you can look at the chat. And notice here's the important message that got posted. Everyone return back to the main meeting, and you can actually go through and chat with the folks in the meeting itself. So if I want to send, and what it does is when you do the @mention, it only lets you @mention folks in the meeting. So as you can see here, I can @mention John or whomever I need to in that specific meeting. So there you go. So you can see all the chats in here and who's being who's in those different types of things. So one of the other things I want, you cannot get to the return button. Let me join this. This session real quick. So as you can see here, once I join this room, I can join it from the chat as well. So I'm going to look at the option, go in there and look up the options. 1 second, be right back. Okay, everyone, I'm back. This to report what the experience that she was having, is she didn't see the return to meeting, or she saw it but she couldn't click on it because she's on a mobile device. It wouldn't allow her to click on it. So what I think I can do is I can come in and actually pull her back into this meeting or ask her to join it. So, or I can close this.
Yeah, I think I had to join.
Oh, you had to rejoin?
Yes.
Perfect. So So one of the things I wanted to show you, once I close this room, notice here I can reassign. So I can assign this team. Let's say we're done with this team. I can reassign this team to another room, and it'll move them to that room. Then that room is closed. So when you close the room, the experience in Teams, the experience in Teams is, which one did I close? I forgot. Sorry. So we close room awesome. So the experience is, once it's closed, it removes people from the meeting if they're in the meeting, and it puts them back into the main meeting. And as you can see here, I can still post a message, but I don't think anyone else can in the participant level. You guys won't be able to post a message in there once it's closed. Okay. So the whiteboard.
A button to join NASA room that's at the top of my screen.
Yeah, let me go look at that. So this room is closed and empty. That should go away. Should eventually fall off. Not sure why it's still saying that you're able to join. That should not be the case.
You moved her to NASA. That's why you closed NASA. It probably goes away.
Oh yeah, I moved her to NASA, so she's probably going to join NASA. Okay, so there was a question in the chat about the whiteboard function was there. Only members of that tenant seem to be able to use whiteboard. Actually, and this is my mistake, when I could have made you guys presenters. You have to be a presenter to start the whiteboard. Any volunteers that want to be a presenter? Want to test that out? No volunteers? Tammy, Robin?
I don't mind. I will. I asked, so I will. It's Kara.
Sorry, Kara?
Kara, yep.
Okay. Make you presenter. Okay. You want to go ahead and try to start the whiteboard on this meeting? By doing that, if you click the share button, you should be able to click whiteboard. This is always a good test.
There's a good check. This is the PowerPoint. Is it somewhere else? Is it in the chat, like you said? No. So when I go to share options, all I have is my screen or PowerPoints.
Okay, so the whiteboard. Okay, yeah. So I guess my understanding, organization in only the organization can use the whiteboard. Only the people in that organization. Good
Gotcha.
test.
Yep, it does make sense.
David 211 Smith had a question about Microsoft polls. I'm going to ask that question. I'm not understanding your question.
So how would we use polls in a breakout room scenario?
Yeah, so the polls itself hasn't been released. At least my tenant has not gotten it. But in that scenario, you could use the polls in the meeting. I have not heard of the scenario where it's going to be per breakout room, but I know it's for meetings. And that was announced at Ignite, but I haven't heard any more traction on the polls itself.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All good question. Any other questions? Any comments? Any feedback you wanna give on breakout rooms? Is it what you thought it was?
It appears to be pretty user friendly, so that's good. Yeah.
Anyone want to share their experience compared to other tools like Zoom or Slack or any other tools that use the same capability? Yeah, Nancy, it's an awful. I'm assuming it's going to be an awful experience on mobile for sure. Web, not so much, but I would assume for sure on mobile will be an awesome, an awful experience. David, you had a question?
Oh yeah, so you mentioned comparison to Zoom, and that made me think back to when we did breakout rooms for Zoom. So the problem that we had was that we were like in the main room, and we're like, hey, we're going to go out in breakout rooms, and we want you to discuss like topic 1, topic 2, and topic number 3. And then the moment they all got into the breakout rooms, they were like, hey, what were those questions again? Because they had forgotten them in the 2 minutes it took them to go into it. So would you, is there a way to, like if you had like a PowerPoint slide in the main room, could automatically show up or be shared in each of the different breakout rooms so they could use that as the focus point for the conversation?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think one of the best practices is to have some predefined content. And you can also, what you can do is you can upload that slide in the chat. So let me go to here. So in the breakout room yourself, you can go and upload the file, and it will show up in the files section, but it also will show up in the chat as a file that you've uploaded. So if I wanted to upload this presentation or any other files, I could select that file and upload. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to upload that. Lot of files. But you would upload the file and it would post in the chat window itself. And that's what you would do. You can do that with notes. If you just had a notepad or whatnot, you can share that. Now, so Microsoft is coming out with a way, and this was announced, they're coming out with a way where you can, before the meeting starts, create your breakout rooms and assign content to that breakout room. So post content early. So when people go into the breakout room and they go to the chat, that agenda is already posted here, and you don't have to worry about going back and posting it in every single point of the breakout room. Does it help you?
Yeah, that all sounds workable. Like that's something that we'll try whenever we use this. Yes.
Yeah, perfect. And until that feature is enabled, I would definitely say to make sure your content is prepared ahead of time, and just you can copy and paste it. That's the nice thing about it. Yeah, so hey, John, good question. So the question is, and thank you, Patricia, for joining. We appreciate it. The question is, I noticed some team meetings where some of the people can use chat messages and some of them can't. Any idea why? Yeah, so I can tell you right now that there is a group policy or a Teams policy in your organization that will and can prevent people from utilizing chat that's outside of the organization. So that's very specific to a policy in Teams. So that is a per user policy that is set in Teams. If you'd like to know more about that, if you want to, you can message me or you can send me an email or write me on Twitter. I will be glad to explain which policy that is, but it's part of the messaging policy, and you can block external or external participants from chatting. And someone had their hand raised and it went down. Not sure who that was. But that's a great question. I hear that and I see that a lot. There right now there's no organizer setting that can prevent people from chatting. but that is a tenant policy level. So. Any more questions, comments? Feel free to throw your complaints out there too, because we can have conversations with, and I can relay this information to the product team to maybe help provide more feedback for them in mind. So John, you said when we join public meetings, can you define what a public meeting is? Thank you, Kara and Tammy. Appreciate it. And John, if you want to we can have an offline chat if you'd like to as well, and we can talk about some of those settings. But and when you define public, is that anonymous access? Maybe I lost John. Still there, John? Okay, so user groups like this one, okay, that's fair. So can you not chat in some of the user groups that you attend? Because that's a user group setting that's on their tenant, wherever the meetings are being hosted. Yeah, Krupani, if you go to the Rocket channel on YouTube, I have a lot of information around Teams too, as well as some videos that you could watch. I'm trying to put out one video per week, hopefully. Yeah, so yeah, Nancy, we're gonna continue to have these in the evening time. Today we were just trying to toss around schedules, and we'll be definitely having these in the evening time for sure. Okay, everyone, we're almost at time. If no one has any other questions, thank you very much for joining. I hope this was eventful for everyone and educational. Again, this is I love having these experiences and learning together and being able to share knowledge and sharing experiences. It's really helpful for the community, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.